What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about tech tips. This is going to be episode 1, becoming a technician or mechanic. We've got the top 6 things we're going to talk about becoming a technician, or if you're moving up, trying to move up to become a technician or mechanic. So, number 1, we'll go ahead and talk about knowledge. Say if you're a lube tech right now and you want to become a technician, you're trying to move up, you've been there for a year, 6 months to a year or so, and you're trying to move up as a technician role. There's many different factors that can play into this, but these are just some basics that you can do, and you're going to need. For number 1 is going to be your knowledge. You've got to know, if you work in a dealership or shop, you've got to know product lines, you've got to know the different vehicles, and that's kind of the basics of being a lube tech. You've got to start learning your basics. And do you know the basics? Anybody can turn a wrench, but are you turning it properly and right? And that's kind of the basis of that. Knowledge can go as far as you want it to go, and you've got to know what you're doing, which can take me to number 2, experience. You've got to have experience. They're not just going to move you directly into a technician role without some kind of experience, at some point, whether you have certifications, which goes back into your knowledge. You've got to have some type of experience working on that specific vehicle line, maybe different problems. So you've got to have experience. If you don't have experience, they're not going to just throw you out into the open world, where you can possibly damage someone's vehicle or cause a safety issue. And safety is a huge thing when you're talking about working on a customer vehicle, no matter if you're an independent shop or a large dealership or even a mom and pop dealership. So you've got to have some type of knowledge and experience. Number 3, we'll talk about tools. You've got to have tools. You can't just be on the main shop floor or in the main shop, say somewhere, and not have tools. If you're borrowing tools, you've got to abide by the golden rule. Every technician will tell you, if you borrow it more than twice or 3 times, you've got to buy it, or you need to buy it. If you can't afford it, you don't need to be in this business, because that's all part of the business itself, as being as a technician or mechanic. You've got to buy your tools. That's our part of living standard as a mechanic or technician. So you can't just go in and just hack job something with the wrong tools, all the time. So you've got to have tools. Now, we all know there's all little tricks of the trade that we can do if we don't have the exact tool. But tools is a big thing. If you don't have tools, say if you're just using like a little small Craftsman box or whatever, or a benchtop box, yeah, that's okay to start out with. But as a lube tech or a starter technician, if you're just a basic oil changer, that's your time to start adding up your tools. You need to start adding your tools, building your toolbox, and I don't mean just tool wise. You've got to be able to build your knowledge as well. So don't just fill your box, your physical box, but you've got to fill your head with the knowledge as well. So if you work as a lube tech somewhere, or if you're just a lube guy and all you do is change oil and maybe rotate some tires and basic filters, you've got to build your knowledge. And you might hear some older guys talking about put that in your toolbox. Well, they may not mean that literally. They mean that in a more of a figurative speech standpoint. And you've got to be able to build that type of knowledge. You've got to have experience and tools. Now, also, number 4, we'll talk about fast pace. Now, you can't be the slow guy. Now, everybody works at their own little pace or whatever, which is understanding. But in a technician, in real world scenarios, if you're at home doing this as a technician, if you're just working out of your home, that's one thing. You're not having to worry about time constraints or whatever. But in real world scenarios and situations, you've got to be fast. And I've said this before in other videos. In order to make it in the business, you've got to be fast. You've got to have some type of purpose when you're doing any type of job. You can't just take your time. Now, there's going to be times with diagnostics that's going to take you, scratch your head, and just kind of kill you a little bit on diagnostics. Um, and there are some jobs that are going to take a little bit longer than the actual book time recommends, but at in a sense, you've got to have some type of sense of purpose and move with a purpose and have some type of necessary pace. And if you're just doing jobs at your own slow pace, your manager or your supervisor is probably going to get kind of pissed off at you, and your shop foreman is probably going to get pissed off at you. I mean, they're going to be aggravated. You know, why are you not? Why is it taking you 2 hours? You know, or an hour to change some oil? You know, or just do a simple job. You know, why is it taking you so long? And they're probably going to get fed up with it. So that's why I say that you need to have some type of purpose, and you need to have a good pace. Um, and which will also take me to number 5, quality of work. Um, just because you have a fast pace, you've got to have a good sense of quality of work. You can't just slap everything together and be a hack technician all the time and be a hack mechanic. You can't just, redneck it and backwoods, duct tape and super glue everything together. It has to be done right. If you're in real world situations, you've got to have the right parts for the job. You've got to do the job right, because especially if a vehicle is still under warranty and you're starting to tear something up, then you need to make sure that the right part is going back on the vehicle and not necessarily the wrong part, but you need to make sure you're installing the part properly, making sure you don't have any issues. And that's why I say quality of work. You can't just slap stuff together and just send it on its way just to get your dollar. Um, and also, we'll talk about number 6, which is special skills. Do you have some type of special skill? Everybody out there will have some type of special skill, some type of special talent, or whatever it is. And when it comes to being a technician, some people are better at electrical diagnosis. Some people are better at overall diagnosis. They don't know shit about turning the wrenches, but they can diagnose the hell out of something. Um, and with that special skill in mind, um, I'll leave you with this. This can be applied anywhere you go or any type of job you are. Just to share a quick little story. When I was younger, a little bit, couple years younger, I had an older guy tell me, if you like your job and you want to move up in the world, find out what your boss or supervisor knows. Find out what they don't know and know. Do their job better. Whatever they don't know, figure that out. And do that job too. Not necessarily do that job, but you need to know that too. That way, if anything ever situation becomes or arises, you can step up into a role. So take it with a grain of salt, yes, but you need to be able to learn your role as anywhere you are. And in order to move up anywhere you are, you need to learn your role and you need to know your boss's role. Because a lot of people out there will just say that their boss just sits on their ass or, sits in their office or whatever the case is. But in this case here, we're talking about, find out what they know and don't know and do their job better. Find out what you can do to make yourself better as a person and as a worker. Making sure your quality of work is proper and, to the standards. Making sure you have a decent pace on you. Making sure you have tools. Are you getting the proper experience and knowledge? Making sure you know your stuff and stay on top of your knowledge, because we all know in the automotive business or anywhere being a technician or mechanic, it's so ever changing. It's changing every 6 months, every couple months, every year. It's constantly changing. So you've got to be able to keep up with the different tools. You've got to be able to keep up with the different products and lines and so many different things you have to keep up with as a technician. So that's not just turning a wrench. It's not for everybody. But these are just your top 6 things that I think of that will help those out there to become a tech, or if you're trying to move up into a technician role. This will be the first episode in the series we'll probably do for tech tips. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. And I hope you guys keep on watching the videos. We'll be doing more in this series. We'll be calling this the tech tips. If you guys have any ideas, always send them in, comment below, put them in the description, underneath the description. Let me know, guys, if you have any further questions. Put your email, or you can try to email or contact me in a way. We'll converse and try to come up with something. Do subscribe, like, share, do what you do. One thing I want to say is we're still trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can do the giveaway. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Keep on wrenching, guys.